Thank you so much, Chairman Risch and Ranking Member Shaheen and distinguished members of the committee. It is a true honor to address you today on a critical matter of U.S. national security, the 2025 NATO summit. I should note that the views expressed in this testimony do not reflect those of the Center for European Policy Analysis, of which I'm president and CEO, or its staff and fellows. The NATO summit in The Hague next week convenes at a pivotal moment as the transatlantic community confronts an increasingly volatile geopolitical landscape marked by Russia's war in Ukraine and the growing cooperation between Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, who collectively aim to undermine the United States and our allies. Therefore, this summit represents a powerful opportunity for the United States to engage with allies as they commit to massive new defense spending levels. Because as was true at NATO's founding and is still the case today, the alliance remains central to the vital national security interests of defending the U.S. homeland. NATO's European allies are poised to commit to 5% of GDP to defense spending, which is a significant and appropriate level given the growing Russian threat to NATO and the broader geopolitical environment. This new commitment signifies a profound transformation, positioning Europe as an example for other partners, a point very aptly made by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth in his remarks to Indo-Pacific partners last month. Indeed, the Trump administration deserves a great deal of credit for pushing European allies to step up in such a significant way on defense. Therefore, U.S. leadership, both from the executive branch and also from the members of Congress, will be instrumental in ensuring that these financial commitments translate into concrete defense capabilities that will ultimately benefit global U.S. national security interests. Showing allied unity at the summit will serve as an important deterrent. In my written testimony, I provide specific examples on 3 key points that I'll summarize here. First, Europe is indeed stepping up, but U.S. leadership and commitment in principle, people, and resources remain critical for NATO's continued success as the strongest military alliance in history. European allies are taking the right steps by setting these ambitious spending targets to rebalance the burden-sharing relationship. And as Secretary General Rutte recently said, it is in all our interest to have a NATO that is stronger, fairer, and more lethal. But while Europe takes up the challenge, there is no magic wand that would allow European allies to produce a highly competent force that can deploy rapidly across the continent. That requires years of planning, as our military commanders will likely confirm. Europe would be a sitting duck for Putin without U.S. presence, capabilities, and political leadership for NATO. The U.S. is indeed the indispensable nation for NATO and the key enabler for European capabilities as the alliance confronts Putin's growing appetite to use military force in Europe. Number 2, Russia is the threat today to NATO that we feared it was at the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. As General Cavoli recently testified, Russia's military has shown a remarkable ability to adapt and reconstitute. Thanks to support from its partners, Russia is also carrying out an increasingly aggressive shadow war against NATO in Europe, and it is on a path to long-term societal militarization. These are trends that we did not see even during the Cold War era, and NATO is now well positioned to respond to the dual challenges of Russia's conventional and non-conventional threats. This means that Russia's actions are signaling that Russia will prepare and is actively preparing for a direct military confrontation with NATO. And we need a common and comprehensive strategy to respond to this threat. Number 3, my last point, NATO's open door policy is a core asset to the alliance and the United States. Since the end of the Cold War, NATO has doubled in size from 16 to 32 members. The integration of the former Soviet bloc states in the 90s and early 2000s has ensured not only stability in Europe, it ensured that these countries would be the strongest pro-American allies, which is still the case today. The most recent inclusion of Finland and Sweden has added significantly to NATO's capabilities, force posture, and strategic depth. Ukraine will also be a significant asset to NATO, bringing the largest, most battle-tested army to Europe with the most cutting-edge capabilities. With that, I yield the rest of my time, and I thank you for your time and look forward to your questions.